Hey, this is Hawkeye. We are at the lake today. Going to do a little stand-up paddle boarding. Sun and Ski Sports is the perfect place to go to get into this relatively inexpensive sport. Really, all you need is a stand-up paddle board and a life vest, and you're on your way. May I recommend, though, also a great life jacket, great hat to keep the sun off your face, and I like these swim shirts also. They can get in a variety of styles and colors, also help keep the sun off you. But may I offer one more tip if you want to get into the sport of stand-up paddling. Right there's your standard paddle for stand-up paddling, but I recommend if you do get a stand-up paddle board to go and buy also a kayak paddle. You can get them at Sun and Ski Sports, a kayak paddle. The reason is you kind of double the use of your stand-up paddle, and basically you can start using it as a quasi kayak or a surf ski. If you remember, like back in the days of Magnum PI, you used to have something called a surf ski, and basically you can use your paddle board as a kayak. I love to use the kayak paddle more than the stand-up paddle board because you can go a lot faster when you're sitting down, and you can also explore some places that are a little bit harder to reach to if you're just using the stand-up paddle. So highly recommend getting both the paddle for the stand-up paddle board and the kayak paddle as a bonus. Let's go out in the lake, have some fun. Hey, this is Hawkeye. We're at the lake, and I'm going to show you a couple of strokes that you can use for stand-up paddling. One's called the J stroke, which is great if you want to go straight. The other is called the reverse sweep and the sweep, which is great for turning. And then also the diagonal draw, which will also help you. 4 basic strokes that you can use when you're stand-up paddling. The first stroke is the J stroke, and this is a great stroke for keeping straight. If you notice, if you paddle on one side of your stand-up paddle, you start to drift off in this direction. The J stroke is perfect for keeping you straight. Start up slightly diagonal, come straight back, and then tail off. Slightly diagonal up front, parallel with the board, and then tail off. At the end, your paddle is something like a rudder, and that will help keep you straight. And you can kind of figure out how much you need of each stroke to keep you straight. The next stroke is called the sweep, and the sweep is great for turning. You can even turn on a dime with the sweep. Very easily, you put your paddle parallel with the board, and you just sweep in a half-moon direction. You start turning to your left. Of course, if you do it on the other side, you'll turn to your right. Now, actually, if you want to turn even faster, you can do a reverse sweep, switch over to a full sweep, and this will have you turning on a dime. We'll demonstrate this in a second. The last basic stroke is called the diagonal draw, and that's if you want to turn your board rather quickly. Very simply, you just draw in perpendicular to the board. Draw in perpendicular to the board, and that'll create your board impetus to go to the right or to the left. But the whole idea here is so you don't have to keep switching back and forth and back and forth. Put paddle just on one side with strokes like the J stroke, the diagonal draw, the sweep. Let's go out on the water and test it out. All right, we're going to start the J stroke. Board around with the sweep and the reverse sweep. Here's a reverse sweep. There we go, now we're off. And finally, it's a diagonal draw. And those are your 3 basic strokes.